This rather dead chicken's name is number 36. He was named number 36 because I put 54 eggs in the incubator, and of the 54 eggs, 35 of them hatched without difficulty. 35 healthy chickens came out of those eggs. And then there was one more egg that seemed to be hatching a chicken. There was a little hole that the chicken pecked in the shell, and it was trying to get out. But typically, chickens come out of their eggs after 21 days of incubation. Some come out on day 20, some come out on day 22. However, the most will come out on day 21. This particular chicken started on day 21, and on day 22 didn't make much progress. So day 23 is going on, and I hear him in there peeping, and he's not coming out. So I did what you're not supposed to do, and I helped him out. I basically took the shell apart. So I took out like 80% of the shell, so he only had to do very little work to get out. And he survived. Now, why aren't you supposed to do that? If a bird is not strong enough to get out of the shell, they're usually not strong enough to live. When I do that with my emus, every time I have rescued a bird and helped them get out of their shell, that emu never lives more than a month. And so I figured, I heard that the same is true of chickens, but I figured, what do I have to lose? Because if I don't rescue him, he's going to die. If I do rescue him and he doesn't make it, he's going to die. So I just said, you know what? I've got nothing really to lose here. Let's give it a shot. Maybe he'll live. So I broke him out, and he lived for about 2 weeks. And then I came home from, I went out of town, and when I came back and I looked in the pen, all the other chickens were fine, and there he was, not being alive. So he lived for 2 weeks and then died. So he was the smallest. That's how I knew which one he was. I knew by the color and by his size. So number 36 didn't make it, not because I broke him out of the shell, but because if they can't get out of the shell themselves, they just don't. That's just a fact. Now, what happens when they break out of the shell? When the chicken, comes to consciousness inside the shell, and the first thing they notice is that they're inside this horribly cramped space, and their neck is at an angle, and it's probably very uncomfortable, probably hard to breathe inside that shell. Their stress hormones go up, and they fight. And as they fight, they break out of the shell. But as they're pushing against the shell and they're fighting, their stress hormones are going up, and their muscles are activated, and it prepares them to struggle in life. The fighting to break out of the shell actually prepares them for life. It prepares them to fight against death and to live. It prepares them for life. If they don't put up that fight, it means that they aren't successful at fighting the stress, and they will not develop the ability to live. It also suggests that they don't have what it takes. There's something wrong with them. If there are genetic abnormalities or problems that make them so weak they can't break out of the shell, it suggests that they probably aren't strong enough to live as well. So there are multiple reasons why you shouldn't break chickens or birds out of their shell if they can't get out on their own. Now, I think there's a spiritual correlation here. And it hit me as I was dealing with number 36 here. It used to bother me that we have to go through this painful life on earth to get to what's after. When you listen to near-death experiences, it sounds like it's going to be fantastic. I mean, there's going to be not just no suffering, but this incredible bliss that is waiting for us on the other side. Not just no pain, but utter euphoria in every aspect of life. It's pure love, it's pure happiness, it's pure joy all the time. Everybody tells you that. And some people get upset and they go, this is this other side where we're with God, and we everybody loves everybody. Why can't we start there? Why do we have to start here and go through all this pain? The Bible kinds of gives us an indication, and it talks about how this perseverance, when we go through these struggles, it develops our character. It it shows us, it shows God, it shows the universe that we have what it takes to fight the darkness, to put up a fight, and to choose life over death, to do the fight, to develop the moral strength, the integrity, the character strength, to fight the darkness and to succeed. And that prepares us to be citizens of heaven. It prepares us to be the children of God, a position that comes with it a lot of power and a lot of responsibility. And before he hands that over, he wants us to face temptations, horrible temptations, the king of temptations, Satan himself. We have to deal with that. We have to struggle against that. And that's our shell. And when we put up the fight here and break out of that shell, that sinful shell of temptation, when we successfully do that, we develop the character skills to stay alive in the larger sense, in the eternal world, to succeed in the eternal world, to be, how can I say, to be worthy of a life of eternal love and joy, and relationships. You know, we are going to a world where everybody is able to love everybody else. And the reason we have those abilities is because we broke out of our shell here. We fought against the darkness. We fought against death. We broke out of the sin shell, if you will. And because we put up that fight, our character was developed, our faith was grown, and we became beings that are able to thrive and do life for eternity. So I'm sad for the chicken, but there was a lesson in here, okay? And so I'm not letting the chicken go to waste, okay? All right, I'll see you in the next video.